Hey everybody, welcome back to Movie Related. I'm going to review a solo review of Vikings Valhalla. Quite some time ago we had a comment that said, you should review Vikings. And that was a 2013 series. And you know what? It was already so many seasons into it. I said, that's a big workload to review something that's already been out and already been reviewed, and nobody's going to be interested. So we had to be a little bit efficient with our time, and we said, okay, well, we're going to skip Vikings. Okay, I thought that was a good idea. And this commenter said, what do you mean? Look at all the reviews you're doing, and a lot of them are crap shows or crap movies. I can't believe you're not going to review Vikings. And, I had to shrug because we have limited time and so forth. And then last year, I played a computer game called Valheim, and I loved it. And so I needed more Viking in my life. I needed it. It was like I was going through withdrawals because I finished the game. I was going through withdrawals. I needed more Viking. And then the other night, Vikings Valhalla pops up on Netflix, and I said, oh, we got to dive into that. So we checked the parental guide because my wife doesn't like the nudity stuff in these series because they seem to have a lot of that lately since Game of Thrones, And they said, the nudity is mild. You're going to see a lot of butts. And it's true. You see a lot of butts in this. It's all guy butts. Anyway, so what am I going to say about Vikings Valhalla? Well, I will say that the people who have seen Vikings are kind of disappointed with this series. They don't like it too much because the first one was apparently so much better, and this one is kind of like, the bad sequel kind of thing. It takes place about 100 plus years after the original story. But I'm going into this not having seen Vikings. And I loved this. This was an awesome show. I am almost done the second season. There's 2 seasons. I'm almost done the second season. And I love the atmosphere. I love the characters. I love the story. Just the screen presence of all the actors. It's like, you know how there are these actors that they're on the screen and fine. And then there are the actors that are on the screen. Like, say, Clint Eastwood. When Clint Eastwood is on the screen, you're watching. Or when Michael Ironside is on the screen, you're watching. Well, there's a lot of that. Like, there's no real throwaway characters except for the ones in the crowd, right? The bit characters that are just, like, the people of the village. And the ladies, too. Not just the men characters, the lady characters have screen presence, too. You got the Queen of England. You got Freydis, which is Leif Erikson's sister, Freydis Eriksdotter. Not Erikson, Eriksdotter. That's how they do it over there with their last names, I guess. It's just like you get all the main characters coming together, and they're going to battle England because England went and they killed all the Vikings in the realm. And now the Vikings are upset and they're going to take revenge. And so King Canute comes and he gets all his heroes together and all his armies, and they go after England. They go right to London. And the only real character that is like a pain to watch, at least in the first season, was the son, the to-be English king. He's a sniveling weasel. He's like the Penguin on the Gotham series. You don't like him. Like, he did his job well. Like, he was a good actor. He made me not like him, which was the point. So good for him. But you just wanted to get him when he was on the screen. But the other characters, Leif Erikson, Harald, Freydis, King Canute, they're just all awesome. Then you got Olaf. I think his last name is Gunderson or something like that. He's the Christian. Well, this is taking place at a time when Christianity is kind of pushing out all the pagan religions. And so you have this battle behind the battle of religions. I'll say, oh, okay, This is pretty interesting too. And he's a bad guy. He still has that screen presence that you like to watch, but he's still the bad guy. So, I have conflicting feelings about him. Anyway, a lot of people are complaining that they put a black woman actress to play a historical white guy character. And I understand that. Like, even when they did the I think was it Anne Boleyn, one of the wives of Henry VIII, they made the queen, who was white in history, they made a black woman. I just can't understand them doing that. Like, okay, fine, maybe with the Little Mermaid, it's okay because it's just a cartoon, a character, a story, whatever. But these are real life people who existed and they were white. That being said, I really liked how the actress played the character. She was great. The Jarl of Kattegat, which was the main Viking hub in this story. I thought she was great. I loved watching her. So no more conflicting emotions. Like, I don't like that they made her black, but she did such a good job. I guess they could have made her a different character and she still could have been awesome, but she was good in what she did. My wife is loving this. I love this big time. Now, I really have to go back and watch the 2013 series. And I'm sorry to the commenter if you happen to be watching this. I should have taken your advice. I should have gone back and watched the original Viking series because this is epic. It is brutal. There's lots of brutality in this, like blood everywhere and swords chopping off hands and stuff. It's all Viking-y. Oh, by the way, I just read in preparation for this video that they call themselves Vikings all the time in this show. But back in the day, they didn't call themselves Vikings. They were just Norsemen, right? And Viking was kind of like a verb of what you did. You were a Norseman that went raiding. So that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that they call themselves Vikings. It's kind of like breaking the fourth wall kind of thing. Now, the first season, loved it. Top marks for the first season. The second season, it's not as good because the story is kind of weak. It's a little bit scattered. I don't feel the intensity. There's no focus like the first one had, the war against London. This second season is kind of, there are things going on, but it's not focused. And but the reason why I'm still enjoying it is because I love the characters. I love how the actors are portraying the characters. Now, Leif Erikson and Harald, like, yeah, I like watching them. I think they're awesome Vikings. But when I think of a Viking, I think of, I don't know if you saw the Northman movie. Anyway, when he had his shirt, he was a big guy. When he had his shirt off, he was muscular and ripped and broad shoulders, and he looked like he was a monster. And that's how I picture a Viking. Now, Harald and Leif Erikson are ripped. Like, they have like zero body fat and abs all the way up to their neck. Okay, they're ripped, but they're still small. They're not broad and big and like a monster Viking guy that I'm picturing in my head. But they're such good actors for the roles that I okay, let's go with it. If you're okay with brutality and butts, if you're okay with that, I think you got to watch this show. Like, don't worry that you haven't seen the original Vikings. I didn't even know this was related to that show when I watched it. And I think this is a really good show. Really good show. It's going to give you lots of good acting, good story, good characters. Just, what am I going to give it? I'm going to give it an 8, I guess. Like the first season, I'd give it a 9. But as a show overall, I'm going to give it an 8. And I hope it has a good finish to the second season. Like I said, it is a little weak in the second season, but I love everybody who's in the show. So, yeah. And like I said, my wife loves all the female characters. Like, it's not just the guy characters that have the screen presence. It's the female characters, too, and she loves them. And it does a good job. All the good shows, to keep you hooked, they have that thing where, oh, I like that character. That character's a good guy. And then they flip it around and they're the bad guy now. And and then somebody else who was the bad guy is now the good guy. So they keep it interesting that way. So if you're into that kind of stuff, watch Vikings Valhalla. You're not going to be disappointed, I don't think, unless you watch the original Vikings. Maybe you will be, I don't know. But I have to go back and watch the original Vikings now. Anyway, thank you for joining us on Movie Related for this review. Hopefully next time I'll be with Mark and Dawn and they could give you their 2 cents. I believe we're going to talk about The Last of Us, which is a computer game, movie, or TV show. Those don't usually go too well. We'll see. I got to watch it tonight. All right, ciao for now.